Buongiorno, Edge 9 è a Las Vegas per reInvent 2025. We had a very interesting conversation about the evolution of the cloud now that AI is becoming so prominent. Can you please tell me from your point of view how the cloud is evolving?
Yeah. So I would say there's a trifecta, if you will. There are three layers to this. First is the cloud itself. What makes up the cloud? It's compute and storage and the silicon with the GPUs. And we are innovating on everything related to the cloud, both leveraging AI and Gen AI, as we've been doing on the continuum of, if you look at machine learning and AI, and now Gen AI, to help and support all of these foundational features that make AWS so great. The second layer is, how do you leverage Gen AI to help you be smarter, more efficient, and faster, more productivity? That's where the frontier agents come in, because it creates a layer where you meet the developers where they are, you make them produce more, make their jobs easier, prevent bugs in software from having vulnerabilities, etc., using the security agent, and then the DevOps agent as well. And the top layer is, now that you have these agents that you are all building and deploying, how do you observe and make sure what the agent is doing through starting with the end customer, how they are using it, to every model invocation, every knowledge base query, all the way to the final response from the agent. And you need an evaluation framework to understand how trustful is the agent, how helpful was it, what is the accuracy. So we are innovating across all of these three layers toward making customer experiences better.
And since you manage and you have a responsibility for a large number of developers, how is their job changing with all these tools that before selling to your customers, you're actually using inside of AWS?
I like to say we drink our own champagne as a joke, but anyway. So my teams use all of these. We've been using these tools, like earlier we were talking about, for the last couple years. Internally, we use them and then we expose them. So if you take the three frontier agents, my teams use them regularly. And things that used to take so many hours now take like minutes for them to run and deploy. Plus, it makes that better, right? We learn from our own usage of it, and higher quality of code, higher code commits. Like, you can see the productivity gains internally from using our own frontier agents.
And to wrap it up, agents have a huge potential, but they work really in a different way compared to any technology we've seen before, even Gen AI itself. You announced some very interesting new features for Agent Core. Can you please describe what is Agent Core and why is it so important for these two elements to be that have been added this year?
Yeah. So Agent Core is our platform for you to create agents. It has a runtime, you can do deployment, it comes with SDKs, it comes with built-in observability. So we give you an entire stack that makes it easy for you to create agents. That's what Agent Core does. And as part of that, for observability, remember I told you also need to understand what your agent does? So we've created this as part of Agent Core. Here's the beauty of it. You can use Amazon Bedrock Agent Core to build everything, but you can also use the components individually, meaning you can create an agent on a self-hosted Kubernetes in your own environment. You can still deploy it in Agent Core and use Agent Core observability to help assist.
Perfect.
So we meet the customer exactly where they are.
So we talked about agents, and can you please tell us what Hero Powers are and how they relate to agents?
Yeah. So one of the most interesting challenges we see with agents are they're broad and they're used to solving broad problems, even if it's in software development. Very often what we see our customers do is add special prompts or capabilities that make those agents work in a particular domain. So we spent time with our customers and we came up with this idea of Hero Powers, which is like giving agents specialized capabilities that help them operate very efficiently in a particular domain. So for example, you may want to use Supabase, or you may want to do some observability with Datadog. You can add the Datadog power, for example, and as you do it, your agent is now an expert in Datadog. We worked with Datadog to add these capabilities, which are a combination of MCP servers, steering files, and agent hooks that are dynamically loaded. And while you're working with that part of the code base, you're an expert in Datadog. Your agent is. Similarly, if you want the agent to be an expert in Supabase, you can do that. You can also create your own powers. Let's say you're at a company and you have some specialized tooling. You can say, okay, here's a power that makes my agent an expert in AWS best practices, for example, the way our company likes to do it. So we're excited. The whole idea is, how can we make an agent give you the right outcomes faster and more effectively?
On the other end of the scope, you also announced the Frontier Agents, which, if I understand correctly, instead of a broader and larger scope and can move more freely.
Yeah, so Frontier Agents are a new class of AI agents. They're always learning. They are constantly getting, as they collect more information and learn, they get more effective. They can solve very broad, ambiguous problems. You don't have to be super specific. You can give them a high-level goal, and they will figure out how to go solve it based on the knowledge that they have learned. So you can start off as an individual. You can point it to your GitHub repository, and if you have a change that maybe spans many repositories, but it's a single application, you can just give it a high-level problem. The Kiro Frontier Agent for software development will figure out which repositories to work on. We have one for teams that learns from your Slack, from your backlog. So the goal is they're constantly learning and always running. It's not things that try and solve something in 5 minutes. There may be a problem that they need a weekend or several hours to solve, and they're able to do that. So that's the whole idea of Frontier Agents. It's just a new class of agents that are capable of working on very ambiguous problems over a long period of time and always learning from the information that they can collect and what they're able to do.
And we can summarize, you're launching 3 agents right now. And how do you guarantee that they stay within the guardrails there are?
So to repeat, we are launching 3 agents. There's the Kiro Autonomous Agent for software development. There is the AWS DevOps Agent for DevOps, and the AWS Security Agent for security. To your other question on how they stay within their guardrails, they work within the knowledge that they have. They work within the context of the repositories, the code base, the pipelines, the runbooks that you give them access to. So for example, the DevOps agent is learning from your runbooks for your operations. It's learning from your observability tools, whether it's Datadog or Splunk or Amazon CloudWatch. Your security agent, you can define your security rules for your company in one place and give it to the agent. And the agent will then, from that point on, apply it to all security reviews that it's doing. So you get to control how you want to make sure that these are staying within the scope of what you want them to operate on.
The main theme of this year's reInvent is definitely AI and agents. How is the AWS security strategy changing to adapt, if needed, to this new world of AI?
Well, the first thing to know about generative AI security is that you still need to get traditional security right. Agents are code, models are code, these things are running on computers, and these models are incredibly good at finding every single document that's accessible to you, even if it was intended or not. And so the first thing to do with generative AI security is to get good traditional security in place. Then you get to work on the awesome generative AI security challenges.
And some of these challenges are related to agents that are not only responding to you, but that are actually going back there and taking action. What are the key elements you have to take into consideration from your standpoint of view to be sure that these agents work in a secure way?
So again, you need to make sure you get traditional security right. This is why we offer services like Bedrock and Agent Core, where we give customers deep guarantees about privacy and session isolation and things like that, so they get a good foundation on which to build. The next thing to think about is the permissions that you're going to give to these agents, making sure that they're reasonably scoped down so the agent can't take actions that you don't like. And then once again, traditional security works really well here. If an agent is about to go transfer money somewhere, if an agent is about to go move data from one place to another, that's anomalous. Traditional security mechanisms can still detect, alarm, and prevent that.
And one of the new elements that was actually introduced here at reInvent is what are called frontier agents. which maybe you can describe what they are and what security threats, if the new threats are related to this new kind of agents.
So a frontier agent is an agent that we expect to run much, much longer, so hours or days, and to take action autonomously across a much broader scope of systems or permissions. And so the obvious challenge here is, because these are autonomous, is making sure that as they're running, as they're accessing data from different systems, that they continue to stay on task and they continue to stay in bounds of the original intent of the workflow. And this is why we have things like Agent Core permissions. We've got the new policy announcement that we had this morning. But looking forward, one of the things that I'm most excited about is our investment in neurosymbolic reasoning. This is combining our deep history in automated reasoning with the powers of generative AI to make sure that we can automatically extract the rules of the system that we're dealing with, whether it's the finance rules of some system or the zoning laws in some town or whatever they are, and then automatically configure things such that the agents, such that the autonomous workflows remain in bounds for those rules.